didn't power up again. So the power draw clearly was too much, and so I've had to return that hard drive and pick up another one, which is the SanDisk Extreme Pro 1TB. Man, hard drives are expensive. The reason for the hard drive for me is because with all this recording that I'm doing, I end up with really big files that I have to cut down, whilst I know that the problem will be solved by recording only when I need to record. The version of me that you get when I press record and then talk is very different, because there's a showtime thing that I can't seem to get rid of, because that's how I'm wired, right? Like, there are people who, when they hear the word action, they put on a persona, and it's not fake, it's just more presented, and you guys don't like that in the vlogs, and you guys definitely don't like that when and you guys like it when I get on a roll. I think that's what it is. So what I've done is I just set the camera to record and just talk to the camera. But what ends up happening is, over a 3-hour packing period, it's a 3-hour long video that then I need to put somewhere before I trim, and that's been an issue. So because of that, my phone storage is struggling to deal with it. This phone is a 512GB, but then the other iPhone's only a 128, because I bought it purely as a photo shooter, not intending for it to be like a second video camera. When you've got 32GB file sitting in there, you can't airdrop it anywhere, it's too big. And airdrop's been mucking around as well. I think I've mentioned that in the previous clip, that it's not transferring big files, it's timing out, it's not letting me transfer more than 100 photos. And so I just needed that SSD as a bit of a landing place for files to sit, and then I'll trim it, and then I can use it in the editing process. Yeah, I cannot stress how much I don't enjoy buying stuff to work. It just reminds me of when I started as a mortgage broker, when I didn't know what filing system I wanted or needed, and I was going through paper folders, the manila card ones that hang in a drawer versus the ones that go into like a binder that I can move. Which pen I liked using, which keyboard I like typing on. Like, when you can choose things when you go from a job to a business, it's quite mentally draining. And so this whole process reminded me of that. Even watching YouTube reviews, the YouTube channels that I watched said, yeah, just get this adapter which I bought, and it should be sufficient. Nope. Apparently the 2GB draws too much power, and then it just doesn't want to do it. But the 2TB doesn't, but the 1TB does. Have I been saying gigabyte? I meant terabyte. So yes, we've figured that problem out. We should hopefully now be able to save time rather than having to wait for files to transfer one after the other in batches of 100. Yes, very excited. And also, hard drives have gotten so small. I haven't bought a hard drive in, I reckon, 10 years, because local storage has been plenty. When you're not a content creator, 250GB is plenty. But apparently when you start doing video, poof. Yeah. So yeah, we've sorted that. And got me thinking also that a lot of resellers watch YouTubers for things like how to skew photograph setup. I understand watching to learn. At the end of the day, we all don't work in cubicles. We all have different space constraints, and so this is your, I suppose, reminder. Just take the bits you need. That's it. Take the bits you need. There's no need to copy us. There's no need to copy them. There's no need to duplicate it, thinking that if you do, it will work out. You have to enjoy using what you are putting in place in your home. And if someone recommends a shelf and a bunch of tubs and a bunch of satchels or whatever, and you find that system makes your room feel claustrophobic, use a different system. You have to want to go to work. If you don't want to go to work, then being your own boss will suck. Especially when you cannot go to work. We don't talk about that enough. The fact that when you're your own boss, just like how you can do whatever you want, whenever you want, and we assume the best of that capability, sometimes we also choose not to do what we should when we need to do it. And that ruins our business, not just in the short term, but also in the long term. Take the bits you need and create the best setup that suits you so that you can get on a roll. Once you're on a roll, you can make changes. I love this saying, you cannot steer a stationary ship. You cannot steer a stationary car. You need momentum before changes make sense. Trying to steer a car when it's stationary is insanity. It makes you even more frustrated, because until you have movement in the different direction, in the new direction, it's all just assumptions. It's all just conjecture. It's all theory with no practice, with no sense of how it might or might not work. Remember that you need to be moving, and preferably on a roll with good momentum, before you change directions, which is actually counterintuitive, because most people feel that they must stop, decide, think, then only start moving again. Entrepreneurship, for me, as I understand it, is jumping off a cliff, learning how to fly on the way down. It's not, I've flown once, I'm not going to stop, and I'm going to try and fly off again. If the first flight was screwed up, trying to fly again is hard. It's actually really hard. There's a lot of fear, doubt. Don't let that happen. Figure it out whilst you're in motion, and you get the best results that way.